little bit late on the East Coast, and we're going to get to that in a second in terms of why we're going at the time that we're going. But it is what it is. We have to take advantage of the opportunities when they present themselves. And so as I do at this time, I just got to go across and check. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. The YouTube is good. We 2 for 3 on the Facebook. Let's get the Facebook moving and grooving. That's very good to see. Come on, come on, come on, come on. You know what time it is. Let me see where we are. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Twitter is live. And are we good on okay, folks, we're 4 for 4. And yes, 4 for 4 in SandCity Sports. On the East Coast, it's a little bit late in the evening, but guess what? It's a TGI Friday. Okay, it's a TGIF, folks. Thank goodness it's Friday. So, we moving into the weekend, and certain things had to take place. It was a Cape League game today I needed to check out. I had to touch base and connect with my people. And so dovetail back. We're not going to push the episode forward any longer. Actually, I wanted to get this done last night. Interesting full disclosure. I was looking to take care of this episode last night. It was a big night in politics. And so decided, okay, don't want to go up against the nation making its momentous decision. Looking forward into November. Not going to be talking politics tonight. Just FYI, not going to be talking politics, but just in terms of the genesis, in terms of why, for those on the East Coast, it's a little bit late. And nonetheless, you guys can go ahead and catch the reruns. Catch the rerun tomorrow. It will be up there for you to see. And then today, listen, Cape Cod Kid, right? That's who you're talking to. All right, artist formerly known as Andre King. This is the Cape Cod Kid. Not going to, in any way, shape, or form, folks. I'm not going to, in any way, shape, or form, allow these beautiful summer months and days to pass me by. Not going to do it. Okay. And so, yes, I would like to, in the best of all possible world, have the show at 7, 8, 9, maybe even 10. But as I said, I had to check out my Harbor Hawks tonight. Okay, we had to get down to McKeon Field. Got there a little bit late, 6:30. Check out the Harbor Hawks, who, by the way, they laid hands, metaphorically, not physically. There was no. But the Harbor Hawks laid hands on the Chatham Anglers today. Was up 6-0 when I left, and we're playing a very full game. Only gave up one hit that I had seen, and so the Harbor Hawks playing very well this year. That's what I'm saying. I couldn't miss the Harbor Hawks in order to get this episode done in those more convenient hours, 7, 8, 9, maybe 10. Then had to go ahead and, make sure, run the errands, had to stop by Five Guys, secure some burgers, some dogs, all the rest of that stuff. Come back, had to get with my man Willis. Willis is my dog, German Shepherd, Black Lab mix. He's a Malinois. Didn't know what Malinois meant. Some of you guys out there in television land might know. I didn't know what Malinois meant when I was talking to the rescue agency. And shout out to my good buddy, my dear friend Endicott Tilton. We're gonna play cards tomorrow. Endicott and myself, we play cards, we play rummy. I've beaten him maybe 5% of the time. Speaking of laying hands, when we sit down to play rummy, Endicott and myself, it gets ugly. It gets ugly. My card skills, World Series of Poker, is nowhere near in my future in any way, shape, or form, at all. But my good buddy Endicott, because I was looking to get a dog, and we're gonna get to the sports, but I'm just breaking down a little bit of slice of life stuff right now. We're gonna get to sports in a second, but because on the East Coast it's a little bit late. I say a little bit because it's the summertime, folks, and it's the weekend. So really, and for me, it's not late at all. It's not late at all. But I'm not like some of you guys out there that's going to be up at 5 o'clock into the gym doing the workouts. And you know what I mean? I will not be doing any 5 o'clock in the morning workouts tomorrow, as you can see. And that's how some people get down. So those folks will miss the live. But, of course, you can always come back and see it. It'll be on the Facebook. It'll be on the Twitter. And, of course, in terms of YouTube, I know my YouTube people are up. I know for a fact the YouTube people are up. There's no question about that, based off the fact that Nightcap with our man Shannon Sharp, and we're going to be talking about Shannon Sharp this episode. That's why I had to get this episode in right now, because there's some major things going on in the world of sports media that could not wait. But my people on YouTube, y'all are up. I might actually get a like and a subscribe on the. See, I already got a view on YouTube. Thank you for that one person that's out there on YouTube. Respect. Because I know my YouTube family is up right now. YouTube, this is just TV, and y'all are up. And Nightcap, i.e. Shannon Sharp, and your boy Chad Ocho Senko, and Gilbert Arenas comes in on Nightcap as well. That done blown up and got 2 million subscribers in the first year, and it's only going up. It's only going up. So I know YouTube people are up, and that there's no issue with actually it might be advantageous to get in this window, the late night window, because I know people. I'm a Ben Maller guy. Shout out to Ben Maller. Ben's not on tonight. But the late night radio crew, and Ben has been a great show. He's one of the top people as far as I'm concerned in the radio business in terms of the show that he puts on. It just happens to be from 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. On the East Coast, a little bit early in the West Coast, but a little bit late on the East Coast. And the Maller Militia is out in force, and so no kind of issue there. The episode, so I've given you a little bit of a reason why we're coming at you a little bit late. There's no two ways about it. Not going to allow any of this beautiful summer to pass me by in any way, shape, or form. And so Cape League game, 5 guys, errands. Had to come back, get Willis right, get him out, get him moving around. And actually, once the episode is done, Willis and I are going to go out again, get him out, get him moving around. And then tomorrow we'll go for a super duper long walk. But I was telling you about Willis, who in the editing and effects, like I'll get a picture of Willis up on the screen. Willis is my dog, German Shepherd, Black Lab mix. Rescue from Georgia. He's a Malinois. I was telling you about my good buddy Endicott, who I'm going to play cards with and catch a beating because Endicott is nice with the rummy tomorrow. Had a dog that passed away in January of 2023. Carlton, the late great Carlton, who was my brother's dog, who was a rescue from Arizona and was with me, was with the family for about 15 years, just under 15 years. I think he was 14. Carlton, when he passed, and he was sick towards the end in animal hospitals, and it was tough towards the end. He was a soldier, absolute soldier, to the last. People that have pets out there, you know what I'm talking about. When they get older, long in the tooth, it's and those last couple months were difficult, and Carlton battled to the very end. Shout out to Carlton, the late great. Carlton was a lab, by the way, like a Labrador Retriever. He was actually a dingo, which is an Australian dog, but kind of looked like just a regular black lab. And when I'm telling you the story, it's important, and we're gonna get to, is that I wanted, when Carlton was getting down up in the years, I said, something, he needs to have his spirits lifted. I'm gonna get, because I'm a dog, I'm a pet person. Get another dog to be with him to kind of lift his spirits and boost his morale and so on and forth. Fortunately, it didn't. The time sequences didn't correlate, which is because it, and just if any pet person, if you're thinking that, hopefully, because you know what I mean, I'm single to mingle. You know what I mean? No shame in my game. I'm single to mingle. It is what it is. My geometry looking good. That's another reason I had to get this episode in. Geometry is looking correct. Ball fade is in full effect right now. So I had to, when my geometry is right, we're doing a show. I ain't paying to get the geometry and everything, all the angles, because I am a little picky when it comes to my haircut. My barbers had known this. I'm a little picky when it comes to my haircut. Okay, they noticed. Okay, but had the beard game. The goatee was trimmed up and everything. So we're doing an episode. For the shout out to everybody in the beard community. People in the beard community know the goatee. Your goatee is where the majority of your growth comes. All right, if you're not in it, but the beard community, people know. So here, so the line, the crispy, and by the way, I'm about 5 years into my beard journey. 5 years, which I'm proud of that, and I haven't done my beard journey update, which my beard anniversary is in March. Doggone it, it's July, folks. It's July, and I haven't done my beard anniversary update. So your boy, all kind of thing. I'm coming in. We doing this show late. It's not really late, honestly, because it's a Friday, and it's the summer on Cape B. So it's kind of late, but I don't feel that bad about coming to you at this time because of all those factors. You know what I mean? It's not on a Tuesday I'm doing the show at this particular point in time. Excuse my French. You know what I mean? It's not on a Tuesday. It's on a Friday, and it's the summer. So I feel I have the ability to do, but people get back to me, good, bad, or indifferent. If you have an issue with what time I am doing the show on this particular episode of SandCity Sports. Now, we was talking about the beard game, proud member of the beard community, 5 years now, right? This is my beard journey. This is 5 years for me. Okay, different beard. You know what I mean? Some would have a mammoth beard. James Harden is my beard hero. That's my beard hero right there, Harden. And there's a couple others that have strong beards. We're not going to talk about the World Beard Championship because I got to get to sports at some point. But okay, all I'm saying is the beard community knows that your goatee is where the that's where the length comes. You know, you're gonna the growth is gonna be the most in this area, the goatee area. And so I did get the goatee trimmed up. I think it's look, you know what I mean, because it was long, so it's good. You can see how I trim, you know, because it doesn't connect. So this is how I grow my beard. But what I've learned in my beard journey process, beardsmen would know this, is a lot of people's beards don't connect straight through, but as it gets long enough, you would just comb the over to so that it seems like it connects. But in terms of my journey, I've just gone with it like this. Keep the mustache, you know what I mean, trimmed here, and then let the goatee. But the goatee was trimmed. It's looking good. So we're doing a doggone episode. Back to my good buddy Endicott and our friend Willis, who I've told you, Black Lab, German Shepherd mix. I went to all these different adoption agencies here on the Cape and people that have adopted pets know this. It's crazy. Like the forms you have to fill out and respect that you have to do it, but you have to do like a video presentation of your residence. You got to fill ABC references, yada yada yada, and it kept falling through at these different adoption agencies. Like I did all this stuff, and they're like, we have a dog, and we don't have a dog. Have a dog, don't have a dog. My man Endicott put me in touch with a rescue agency out of Georgia. Put me in touch, boop, boop, boop. I called one person, you know, this is what I'm trying to, you know what I mean? They said, oh, you know Endicott? And by the way, my man Endicott, he was a fisherman for many years in northern Maine. I'm not, you know, you want to talk about a man's man? You want to talk about a true blue, tough, you know, I ain't gonna do, but that's my man Endicott right there. Right? That's my man Endicott. So people was like, you know Endicott? Oh, that's enough. You know, that's good. Put me in touch with the rescue agency in Georgia. Spoke to the sweetest woman in the world, Alice, down in Georgia, who did the rest, you know, and just talked with me, gave me, but she kept saying he's a Malinois. At the time, I was like, what? I just thought it was a genetic condition. She said Malinois. I said genetic condition. Folks, where I reside on the Cape in Centerville, this is like the ultimate Halloween trick or treat neighborhood. Like it's the prototypical suburban sandlot neighborhood. So they said Malinois. That doesn't. We're gonna go for walks around the block, through, around, over, back. There's gonna be so much movement with this youngster that whatever condition he has, we're just gonna work it out of him. I've come to learn, folks. Malinois is the canine police dogs. A Malinois is the dogs that they train to be the canine dogs for like your state police, local police, and these are like war dogs, like the dogs that go into the battlefield to like hunt whatever mission that they're doing. The breed that they use are Malinois. I didn't understand. So Willis, you want to talk about energy? You want to talk about just they need his breed is distinctive. He's a war dog, and he's from rural Georgia. He's a farm dog. You know, we are in suburban Massachusetts. So those two things with Willis, you know what I mean? His DNA, he's looking for, like he wants to smoke. Willis is now, no, he's not aggressive. He's not aggressive. He's not a biting, like angry, vicious dog. And I want to make that clear. He does nip a little bit, honestly. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so that's what's kind of, you know what I mean? And he's got chompers. So he will, and when I say nip, I mean like he it's almost like teething. He will need to put your hand in his mouth. And he'll need to do that. But not aggressive, not going to bite you, but so much energy that is just it's a little bit different, you know. Carlton was laid back, you know, he had energy at times, but then he's good to just chill. Willis, he's constantly looking for the smoke. Constantly. He needs a mission all the time. So that's been a little bit of an adjustment, you know what I mean, just in terms of but all coming from a good place. He just needs to get that energy out. And so as I was saying, in terms of why we're coming to you, had to go to my Cape League game, had to get back, get Willis out, moving around. go back, connect with people. It's a Friday night, just connect with my people in town, But I said to myself, I'm gonna get back to do this episode. I'm not gonna be just on Main Street, which on a Friday night, when you go out, you know what I'm saying? All the women that's independent, what I mean? You out, we out there, you feel, you know what I'm saying? When you go out, you go out. Okay. When I go out, I'm out. Okay, you say I'm gonna be home, but once I'm out and I get flowing, and you know what I mean, I get the, you know what I mean. I can't do my shoulder shake. I can shoulder shake, but I can't really do it right now. The chair's not allowing me to get the level, but I can shoulder shake. You know what I'm saying? When I go, that's what I'm doing. I'm out there. But tonight I said, okay, I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna hang up. See my people, and I did connect with a lot of people. Which you got to get out. You got to, you know what I mean. But then I said I'm, leaving at this time because I wanted to have the live start at 12:30. Started around 12:45, so it's already 1:00 on the East Coast. So people are like, what the heck is he doing? You know what I mean? But it just has to be. It has to be what it has to be, right, folks? And so I've explained why. Let me just check. Good, bad, or indifferent. Let me know. Let me know, how you feel. Facebook is doing Facebook. I can't really see it on Twitter. Okay, my people, I appreciate my YouTube people are with me. I appreciate that. And what I'm learning, first of all, there will be SandCity Sports gear that's coming up. This is a passion project. SandCity Sports gear will be, so you're going to see my shirts, going to be SandCity shirts from now on. I know about hats because I want you to see my geometry. I want you to see my geometry and stuff like that. So I'm not going to do hats just yet, but I will have shirts for the SandCity Sports. Also, what I haven't been doing, I want to please hit that like button and subscribe. For my people on YouTube, please go ahead, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If you're not inclined to do that, leave a comment. Tell me what I'm doing right. Tell me what I'm doing. Tell me something. Tell me doing something. So this is what you have to do. I know that the programs, and I wasn't doing that. So I'm going to do that on occasion. And if you're viewing on a different platform, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, go out when you get a chance on YouTube, find SandCity Sports, hit the like button, give your boy a subscribe, or call me out my name. Tell me what you think. Don't get too personal, please. Don't get too personal. But call me out my name. Tell me what you think, how we can improve the show. And if anybody wants to be on the show and collab and come through and have sports takes and be respectful and positive and uplifting and encouraging, you're always welcome. As we this has been great for us, me, and a couple people that, my bro's been really solid with me, and people that helped me get this thing off the ground. But having this Zoom format, allowing people to come in, it's been just really tremendous, because we've done this show in a lot of different ways. As you can see, if you're on the channel, might have 100 episodes total, but we filmed it in a lot of different ways. And of course, not of course, because you wouldn't know this, but I filmed a lot of episodes, and there was a lot going on in the world of YouTube. Just when the world shut down in March of 2020, so that's when I filmed a lot. Fortunately, I had the equipment. That's a little interesting little story that I'll tell, and then I'm gonna get directly into sports, because I know you've been talking. It's been 20 minutes, but proud member of the Cape Cod Media Center here on the Cape. And I had film equipment, because what I do with the film equipment is played men's leagues for many years, so I would film the men's league games. That's what I had the film equipment for. Film our men's league games, not because anybody's going to the NBA. It's all nostalgia. It's all nostalgia pieces, right? Have this, to look back on, and some people that are trying to go on to do college, not on a college because they're done with college, but you can have the game film. But that's what I had the film equipment for. And then all of a sudden the world shut down, and I couldn't return the film equipment to the media center. Fortunately for everybody, because obviously I didn't damage the equipment, but I had that equipment to be able to film episodes of this show when the world shut down and we were kind of locked in. And so a lot of the older episodes, you'll see, how it kind of breaks down along those lines. So about 20 minutes, just kind of slice of life stuff, and then just explaining why we're coming to you when we are coming to you. Okay, so now we're gonna because I have a number of different things, and we're gonna get heavy into the world of sports. Let me just get my list in terms of how I want to proceed forward. But we're gonna start with Jaylen Brown. We talked a lot about Jaylen Brown previously, and we're going to get into Jaylen Brown. If I can find the list, yes, I have the list. And start there. Listen, Chris Rock had the famous statement, right? Oprah is rich. Oprah's rich. Oprah's a billionaire, right? Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, they're wealthy. They're wealthy. Okay? Meaning hundreds of billions of dollars. They're wealthy, right? on this point about riches and wealth, big bank and little bank, right? Shout out to check out. I saw something about Rockefeller, just quickly, and how he built his fortune. But then how Rockefeller established trusts for his relatives to keep his fortune what it was. Interesting. Rockefeller. Also, interesting that he almost passed away in his 50s and then ended up living to his late 90s. So he kind of he started giving a lot more to charities after he almost died in his early 50s. Then he lived on another 40 years, Mr. Rockefeller. So a lot of his charitable donations, that was very interesting. But then also, right, because he built the wealth, and how these tycoons and monopolies operate, that's kind of whole ball of wax. But, you want to talk about quote unquote generational wealth and foresight and vision and wisdom. He set up his wealth that his family would not be able to squander it. Saw something about the Vanderbilts in terms of wealth. They did not do this, and they had a different result. Interesting. Just a little throwback, little history lesson. Okay, back to Jaylen Brown. And I give you a little history lesson. You might have liked it, you might not have liked it. If you liked it, please like, comment, subscribe. Quick little promo. If you didn't like it, just let me know. Here's what it has to do with Jaylen Brown, who I respect firmly here in Boston. Social consciousness, very intelligent, and right. Jaylen Brown, Little Bank, right? Because he was the highest paid basketball player in the league, and now Jason Tatum is, right? So, he had that, and now Jason Tatum, Celtics dynasty staying together, even though the team's going to be sold. We'll get to that in a second. Jaylen Brown's Little Bank. Jaylen Brown called out Nike. He called out Nike. And while I really, respect that heart, that you're the finals MVP, you're an NBA champion, you're ascending into a place to take your legacy to a place, right? Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, they could win 2 or 3 championships in this window, right? They could have as many championships as LeBron James. They might pass. That's in the conversation now, folks, in terms of the Celtics team and what can be done. They can get 4 championships. Now that's kind of crazy. I'm saying it and I'm really hopeful for my New York Knicks. But this is a window where they can get at least 2, if not 3, in this window. That's feasible. All right, and they're going into the winning, right? But this Team USA thing breaks out, and we talked a little bit last episode. And I'm just going to, you know what I mean? The Team USA, it's a Nike thing. It's a Nike thing versus a Grant Hill thing versus a LeBron James thing. It's a Nike thing. And Jaylen Brown, and this is one of the things that's crazy, nobody knew that Jaylen Brown and Nike were at it. Like, I'm a huge Jaylen, like, you know what I mean? Jaylen Brown, I rock with him. I rock with this man heavy. And I'm so proud to have him here in the Commonwealth. And he is carrying on the legacy of Bill Russell. I said that. And Adam Silver recognized that. He's carrying on that strong legacy of social justice. No, I'm not going to shut up and dribble. Yes, I am going to speak to important matters like education, okay? Like employment, like the wealth gap, okay? Like some of these systemic things that keep people, no matter how hard they're working in certain places. I'm speaking to these things and I'm correcting, and I'm doing measures to correct them for those working class heroes out there in the world, right? For all working class heroes out there in the world. I'm speaking to these matters and I'm trying to make the situation better. So if you are killing yourself and if you are working and going to college and getting degrees, that you can't see the fruits of your labor, all right? And these subtle, quiet, predatory things that go on to keep people in place can be dismantled, right? This school to prison pipeline, okay? These private prisons, okay? And you want to talk about something that's really happening, all right? This 2-tier justice system. Okay, I'm not just going to shut up and dribble. We're going to try to make the society overall better. Okay, because again, that big bank, they got plenty of money. Okay, we send a few less people to prison. Okay, we help people to get housing, dare I say, or subsidies to you know what I mean? That's not going to take anything away from the tycoons. It's going to make our society as a whole better. That's what Jaylen Brown is speaking to and making strides and progress on. 100%, 1,000% respect. Okay? this Team USA thing, it's interesting, and I don't know it's interesting. That's kind of that's not really, I didn't really say anything right there. There's some cloak and dagger stuff going on. Team USA put it out that they wanted Derek White. All of us were like, wow, that's great for Derek White, and he's a hardworking guy, even though he's never been an all-star. He's a hardworking guy, and he's going to be a great fit for the team. We don't even really think, hey, what about JB, right? When that storyline from USA Basketball first come out, we don't even think about that. I'm thinking, like, I guess Jaylen Brown doesn't want to be on the team. That's what I'm like. I guess he didn't want to play. That was my, like, you know what I mean? Because obviously he's better than Derek White, and that's no slight on anybody. It's just a fact that Derek White will admit. Just a fact. So, but why did Team USA Basketball put that out there when they did, right? It was because they were getting ahead of a story, because they knew that there was this forthcoming feud, because I didn't know. And I haven't heard a Boston or a national media outlet report it, that Jaylen Brown and Nike have been warring for years. Years. Jaylen Brown originally signed with Adidas. That offer was up. And we're going to talk about this because we got some prep stuff to talk about. Folks, it's like we have different. Nike is on Mount Olympus. Nike is the Zeus of sports apparel companies. They just, and I'm not saying anything crazy. They are. And especially when it comes to basketball, a lot of this had to do, check out Soul Man, 30 for 30, Sonny Vaccaro. A lot of this had to do, Sonny Vaccaro, by the way, who built Nike, who signed Michael Jordan, right? We want to be right? Sonny Vaccaro, and whatever you want to say about him, Godfather, however you want to put him. Sonny Vaccaro told the Nike people, go ahead and check out Air. I'm ashamed because I haven't seen the whole thing, and it shames me because Matty D and Ben Affleck are my people. Shout out to Good World Hunting. Shout out to coming here from they're from the Commonwealth. You want to talk about black, white, yellow, green, orange? It doesn't matter. People are people, and your word, your bond, all that stuff. Matty D, Ben Affleck. They are my people. Good Will Hunting, one of the best films ever. They wrote that themselves. They didn't cry a river about who wasn't giving them what opportunity. They made their own opportunity. The rest is history. And I haven't seen Air, and I feel kind of bad about that. Sonny Vaccaro, all right, is the one that went to Phil Knight and Nike and told them. They said, no, they say, oh, Michael Jordan, he's all right, but we got to give Kareem. We got to give Akeem some money, and we got to give Charles Barkley some money, and we got to give Sonny Vaccaro. You ain't doing none of that. You taking all that bread and giving it to Michael Jordan because he's the future. That's what you're going to do. That's what you're going to do. People, all right? That's what you're going to do. And history is history. Jordan bringing in, what, $300 million at minimum from Nike, from his Nike Gears patent to this day? Man hasn't stepped on a court in 2 decades, and he's still getting that hundreds of millions of dollars from his George. People still showing up at 2 o'clock. People are going to leave this, episode. I hope you're watching, first of all. I hope you're watching. They're going to leave this on a Friday night. They're going to get in line at we're going to be done. Maybe we might go to 2 o'clock. Now that I'm going, we might go. I'm sorry. It is what it is. It has to be what it has to be. It is what it is. I told you why I'm coming at this particular point in time. People that have a problem with it, you got a problem with it. I can't help, okay? But this is when we rocking with this episode. It's a beautiful thing. It's summertime on the Cape, and I'm taking advantage. And people, I don't feel good. I feel lovely right now. It's late episode, you know what I mean? We doing it with like how we doing it. But fact of the matter is, speaking of Jordans, people might be watching this episode. They're gonna leave and go sit in a line somewhere, wait until 5 o'clock in the morning for a store to open to buy some Jordans. Maybe because they're gonna sell them for even more than they bought them for. Maybe just to wear them. Okay, where did that start, folks? With Sonny Vaccaro. I started with Sonny Vaccaro. Okay, it might all right. So that's how we got Nike to get to the ascending point. Sonny and Nike split. He went to Adidas. He had the inside track and relationship with LeBron. Check out Soul Man. LeBron would have signed with Adidas if Adidas would have listened like Nike listened. Sonny said, "This is the amount of money you have to give him." Adidas was like, "You don't know what you're talking about." Okay. Adidas said, "You don't know what you're talking about." Okay. Okay. Who wrong? Who wrong? Who wrong? Who wrong? Had LeBron signed with Adidas? Okay, right? Exactly. History would have unchanged. Okay, because the fact is, like, that was like the last. Adidas will never catch Nike, right? They had the Derrick Rose little movement, and Derrick Rose got injured. They'll and it's not. And my thing with it's not like apples to apples, or it's not even close. It's like watermelons to grapes. It's like watermelon to like a raisin. And I'm sorry if anybody feels some type of way, but that's just the way it is. Okay, a little shout out. We're going to talk about prep basketball. I'm going to talk about AAU because this is the season right now. Anybody that's involved in basketball, youth basketball, okay, this is the height of the recruiting calendar right now. We're going to talk about Peach Jam, and there's a reason that Peach Jam is on NBA TV, because Peach Jam is the championship for what sports circuit? That's right, the Nike sports circuit. The Nike sports circuit. Okay. That's why those games are on NBA TV. That's why those games are on ESPN. Okay. That's why the Nike circuit, pound for pound, has more of the top basketball players in America. That's why the Nike circuit has expanded from a summer circuit to they've taken over the high school season circuit. So Montvert and Brewster Academy and IMG Academy, during the year, they play on the EYBL, whatever the heck they call it. Okay, so Nike's taken over the high school basketball calendar itself. Okay, what does this have to do with Jaylen Brown? This is the tree that Jaylen Brown barked up. Okay, Nike, it's almost like two sides of one. You can't say basketball and not include Nike. They're so intertwined in terms of the global juggernaut that basketball has become under the leadership of the late great David Stern and now Adam Silver. This global vision for the game from a time when the league was too black, the league was too hood, and by the way, it was hood in the 80s, fights and irresponsibility and all the rest of that stuff, right? From that NBA tape delayed games, right, to now Jason Tatum contract, Jaylen Brown contract, and this is what the late great David Stern said: NBA players are at the top of the celebrity pyramid, the top of the celebrity pyramid. And those 80s babies that will remember, in those days, bottom. Your league is going to be a fringe sport, and it's not going to ever have mainstream appeal. Okay. What does that have to do with Jaylen Brown, folks? Right? So Jaylen Brown, all the respect, all of the admiration, all that stuff. Jaylen Brown, you barked up a tree. You barked up a redwood tree. You barked up one of the trees in the redwood forest, Jaylen Brown. That's what you did. And where's we just got, what I mean? And the people commenting, I hope, man, my people, I got some views on YouTube. Appreciate that. Respect. Facebook, okay, the Facebook is a little, I can't see Twitter and Twitch, but I appreciate because I know people, because I'm one of these YouTube people. I'm looking for something live. So you know what I mean? So respect. I said that, I'm going to keep saying that because it really means a lot to me. Right? Jaylen Brown, right? Folks, there's a story. He's not even talking. What is that camera doing reading Jaylen Brown's lips? What is that camera even doing on him, reading his lips in the first? What is this? The Cold War? What are we doing here, folks? Who is Jaylen Brown? Morpheus now? Is this man Morpheus? Is Jaylen Brown now Morpheus? What's the camera do? He's not even, you're reading his lips, and then that's going to be that goes coincidentally viral. And you're not saying, well, Adam Silver's a great guy. Wow, the NBA is doing wonderful. Wow, you don't take the clip of all the other positive things that he might have been saying. You take the 2 seconds where he said Bronny's not a pro, and you throw that out there, and now we have this other storyline. That's Nike, folks. That's the powers that be. That's big bank. That's big bank right there. That's big bank saying to little bank, and you know what they said. You know what big bank says to little bank. We're going to keep this show family friendly. You know what they said. Look, bruh. Jaylen Brown, Finals MVP, president or vice president of the Players Association. You know what I mean? Just one of our royalty in this game. One of the, again, I said Bill Russell. That's what I said. I said Sam Jones. I said Tommy Heinsohn. I said Bob Cousy. I said John Havlicek. That's what I said, folks. That's what the Celtics the legacy the Celtics are continuing and growing and expanding with this team that's been built under the leadership of Brad Stevens. Yes, that's the legacy that's being carried on. At the same time, Jaylen, the NBA is the NBA. Nike is Nike. And I think it was underhanded. It was curious. And it was Nike, period. I said, when Jaylen Brown said, I'm not afraid of you or your resources, even though, as I said, all these other things about all of the positive things that he means to the game that are just wonderful, okay? You came up against a dominant component of the global basketball juggernaut, right? If it's not Zeus, it was like Apollo that you disrespect. You know what I mean? If you might have disrespected Zeus, Nike might be that power, but if they're not Zeus, then they're at least Apollo. So even though Jaylen, like it's like Achilles, Achilles, the great champion, disrespecting Apollo. Apollo be like, look, bro, hold, whoa. Achilles, you are what you are. Like the Odyssey is what it is. The Trojan War was what it was. So Achilles, you know what I mean, but I'm Apollo. Let's get it understood. Let's get it understood. Achilles is Achilles, and then Apollo is Apollo. So what I mean? When those two have, and that's what's happened. That's the Jaylen Brown, in my view, Nike situation. It's Achilles on one side with Jaylen, and it's Apollo on the other side. And Apollo, that's big. Apollo is Apollo. Achilles is a man. Apollo's a god. Okay, and so there got to be a course correction somewhere in there, and that's what happened. And so hopefully, frankly, it just ends. I'm tired of this, and it's counterproductive because Jaylen Brown is so important and helpful for basketball and does so many, and Nike, right? And I'm going to segue now into my prep component of this. My segue now, because right. So Jaylen Brown, Nike, like you've thrown the punches. There's been some connections. It's a story. It's interesting. It's counterproductive, frankly, because Team USA is in some trouble. We want to talk about that. Team USA is in trouble. Yeah, Team USA is in trouble. It's in trouble. And this whole redeem team type, you think you throw a bunch of old, aging superstars and a bunch of young bucks coming up, and you think that all of a sudden they're going to correct it in one, when you don't have Coach K, right? That's the real trouble, that Coach K is not the coach. No disrespect. And you understand what I said? Popovich is not Coach K when it comes to USA basketball. Steve Kerr is not Coach K when it comes to USA basketball. Coach K was the one that was able to carry on the legacy of the Dream Team and Chuck Daly and what was originally, right? But when Chuck Daly left, they won in 96. They won in 2000 with a couple of these other coaches, Lenny Wilkens, shout out to Lenny Wilkens. But, team, Steve Kerr, you love your country, and you ain't no Coach K when it comes to international competition. So Team USA basketball is going to be no cakewalk. And they, so this whole Jaylen Brown storyline narrative is really affecting the fact that USA basketball's got an uphill climb to get this thing right. It's not a roster that's played together, right? The Redeem team in 08, they lost in 06. They lost in 06 to Greece. Right? People might not remember that was Coach K's one loss. Then he won like 150 games straight. But in the first iteration with that great team, right? So this team is new. They did, LeBron just got angry last summer and threw the team together. And the world is caught up and possibly, am I wrong for saying surpassed? Am I wrong for saying Luka? Am I wrong for saying Giannis? Am I wrong for saying Nikola? Am I wrong? Am I wrong for saying Wemby? Am I wrong? We're all done caught up. So that's what we need to be focused on, this whole Jaylen Brown Nike feud. Let's, have a sit down and just end this nonsense. End it. And, there's some wrong on, you know what I mean? Nike, you shouldn't have put this stuff out there that it's going to be Derek White during the conference finals because JB couldn't respond. And then JB didn't have to go hook, line, and sinker once Derek White, because everybody knew Derek White was going to be on the team. But he kind of did have, you know what I mean? So Nike threw they stuff out to silence did Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown wasn't going to be silenced. He let it be known that he wanted to be on the team and he should have been on the team, and he was passed up. That's true. Then he doubled down on that. I'm not afraid of you or your resources. And then Nike came back with this whole covert operation, lip reading foolishness. By the way, people should have just been happy. I'm happy for Jaylen. His girlfriend is a WNBA player, socially conscious. They were at the game with Angel Reed, up and coming WNBA superstar. That's what it should have been talking about. But we're talking about some covert doggone operation. Let's have a sit down and end it. If you need to call me in, I'll be ready to come in as consigliere to get the right decision. I can do that. I'm available. Call me in. We have a sit down and we're gonna have a meeting in the minds and end this. People going to the mattresses. We need why are we going to the mattresses against each other when Team USA is in trouble? And I said it, I'm gonna say they in trouble. You had some games in London this weekend. We better see some correction. They're missing Coach K and this roster untested. I said it. Okay, so now we're going to segue over into, folks, because I talked about Nike, and this is the height of the summer. Now, again, this is because the Cape Cod kid is here. I was a Rudy guy. I was never that guy because I was supposed to be 6'5" and make it to the NBA. Newsflash, I'm not 6'5". Okay, but the love of basketball, and people that know me know it has been there. And my dear friends, we've retained this love. We play fantasy sports, and we do, you know what I mean? So the basketball, you're talking about my tradition, right? I go to the Cape League games. I don't know the baseball tradition. I know the basketball tradition, and it's just been rooted in me for just so many years. What does this have to do with Nike? What does this have to do with where we are right now? Folks, if you are coming up through the ranks, right? More so middle school, definitely high school. And you're not playing right now during the live period in July, I don't know what to tell you. I do not know what to tell you based on the fact this is when rankings are established. This is when the rankings are established. Right now. This is when the stars of tomorrow become the stars of tomorrow. Okay? Cooper Flagg is who he is. He's at Team USA camp. He's balling. He's a prohibitive favorite to be the number one pick in next year's NBA draft. It's no secret and surprise why he was at Team USA balling, because Grant Hill is the manager of Team USA. Grant Hill is a Duke guy, so Cooper Flagg is going to get that opportunity and shine bright in that opportunity, right? He can get that opportunity. He's going to shine bright in that opportunity. But Cooper Flagg built himself up, and he became bona fide as a freshman and a sophomore on the Peach Jam circuit, playing for Team Maine. His Cooper Flagg did not go to an established New York Rens, Expressions, BABC, even though they moved over to the Adidas circuit. He didn't go to one of the established Nike powers. He took his people in Maine and said, this is my group. His brother was on that team. We're going on the circuit. Cooper Flagg, by the way, did not play up. He played with his age group. So Cooper Flagg never, because he's done. He's not playing on the E-Web because he never played U17. He didn't play U17 last year. He was 16, so he played with the 16-year-olds. Did that affect anything? No. By the way, that's the same thing that the Boozer twins have done. They play with their age group. And it's different strokes for different folks, right? AJ DeBansa, played up. Well, and then I got to double check that. But AJ DeBansa did play with the U16 team, and then he played last year. He definitely played U17. And that's how you get both from New England. Very proud. Cooper's from Maine. AJ's from Brockton. We know Brockton here in the Commonwealth, City of Champions. Home of Rocky Marciano, home of Marvin Hagler. We know Brockton, right? And, Cooper played Team Maine. AJ played for the Expressions. Then after last year and became the odds-on number one, he signed, went to Prolific Prep. He was at St. Sebastian's in Needham, good ISL school, and went to Prolific Prep. And then now AJ switched over to the Oakland Raiders. Excuse me, Oakland Raiders. What's this guy talking about? The Oakland Soldiers, who have not had, who have not won Peach Jam recently, but are a team that has taken home Peach Jam championships, and they're the odds-on favorite to take home this Peach Jam championship because they have not only the number one junior in AJ DeBanta, they also have the number one sophomore in Tynan Stokes, right? Tynan played for Las Vegas Elite last year. Okay. Last year, AJ was playing with Expressions. They both decided to go to Prolific Prep together, and they're playing on the Soldiers together. They're the prohibitive favorite to win the whole doggone thing. Not that they, because Peach Jam is, you never know with Peach Jam. It's not the players that win it, it's the teams that win it. So a team like a Mocan Elite. Okay, shout out to Michael. Shout out to Trey Young and Michael Porter Jr. won a championship with Mocan Elite. Mocan Elite has won multiple championships. Christian Braun, one of their players. They're from like the Tennessee area. Shout out to Mocan Elite. And a couple. Okay, so where am I going in terms of the prep? I've just given you a couple stories and a couple examples. But what I really want to hammer home, and it's not just about the hierarchy, right? Because you can get to the high major level from the Nike circuit, from the Adidas circuit, from the Under Armour circuit, and from just the unaffiliated circuit, if you want. Donovan Clinigan, right? He's from Connecticut, played for the Spartans, which is a team based out of Boston here in the Massachusetts. They were a non-sneaker team. He played on the hoop group circuit, and he's Donovan Clinigan. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. A lot of that had to do with him making the right choice to play for the right coach who's going to develop him, and the rest is history. The rest is history. Okay, so I gave you a little bit there, like just FYI for people in the youth sports world. There is a hierarchy. You probably and it starts with Nike, and it's not even close. In terms of the investment, in terms of the preponderance of ranked players, the majority of your ESPN top 100 players, and it's just the bottom line, and it is what it is, are on the Nike circuit. The majority. I'd say next is Adidas. I don't think that's debatable. And Under Armour, which is a much newer circuit, is next under that. Now, does it mean, Anthony Edwards played on the Under Armour circuit. So it is okay. But I'm just talking overall numbers and viewership. Nike, Adidas, Under Armour. And I clarify that you can get to where you need to get to from either, or you can be on an unaffiliated circuit, Zero Gravity here in New England, Hoop Group, which travels. Okay, that's not really the overall. And I've been on, it's been about 50 minutes, and it's 1:30, and it is what it is, and we're gonna keep moving and grooving. The heart of really what I want to establish in going and looking at the preps is this, because and it's, first of all, shout out to, if you're, I got to give a couple shout outs. At All Costs. At All Costs. You can find it on YouTube. It was on Netflix back in the day. At All Costs is like the modern, it's not, I can't compare it to Hoop Dreams. I'm not going to, because Hoop Dreams is frankly one of the best sports movies, and I'm going to say it's the best basketball movie of all time. Over Hoosiers, over He Got Game. I'm just going to say it's the best basketball movie of all time. And by the way, speaking of like recognition and honors and everything like that, Hoop Dreams wasn't even nominated for Best Documentary. Wasn't even nominated. I want to talk about bias. I want to talk about systemic issues. Hoop Dreams. Robert Ebert said one of the greatest films of all time. Robert Ebert being from Chicago, and he's 100% right. If Robert Ebert gave us a thumbs up, and Siskel, if Gene Siskel said thumbs up and Robert Ebert said thumbs up, that movie's worth seeing. We missed both of them. The late, great Gene Siskel and Roger Ebert. Okay? Roger Ebert said one of the best documentaries, or whatever he said. He's 100% right. Wasn't even nominated for Best Documentary. The Wire. I don't think The Wire won any Emmys. So, folks, the people, you know what I mean? The Wire is the greatest television show of all time. Wire, Sopranos, close second. I'm not gonna get too deep in it, because we're already late. It didn't even win an Emmy. And by the way, the ratings for The Wire were like categorically lower than Sopranos, which is nuts, even though they were on back to back. People, just do your work and create your masterpieces. Don't worry about some of the metrics, and don't worry. Create your work to the highest of your ability. The test of time is the ultimate decider. The test of time is the ultimate decision maker. Not even going to nominate Hoop Dreams for anything, and it's crazy. It's just absolutely crazy. So At All Costs, I highly recommend it as just a modern documentary about grassroots basketball, AAU, so on and forth. There's a new film called The Spoil System, which is on some platform that just came out, same filmmakers, and it's kind of like an updated version of At All Costs. At All Costs, you can find on YouTube. Just sit down and watch it, it's just well done. At All Costs, there is an author in the book whose book is called Playing Their Hearts Out. I have it on Audible. I haven't gotten finished with it, but I guess he won some prizes. I need to get through the book, but so At All Costs is in a lot of ways framed based off this book, Playing Their Hearts Out, which looks at, let me get the screen right, the modern quote unquote AAU, just monstrosity. And it's not just basketball; it's every single youth sport, which is a different diatribe, and kind of getting into how youth sports is just the professionalization, frankly, of youth sports. And I'm not going to dive, because there's interesting stories, different sports, football in Texas, and not going to go too deep into that. Here's what I am going to say, folks. Just bottom line, okay? Because you're traveling, you're spending the money, and it's your kid, and you're on your journey, and you want to invest in your kid and all that stuff. I get all of that. But I also know that there's a lot of hard feelings, hurt feelings, angry people, because you spent a ton of money, you completely upended your life, you traveled. I mean, there's just a lot of. I mean, who's right? Adidas is excuse me under Nike's in South Carolina for Pete's Jam. I was hearing some things that might be in, but Pete's Jam is always in South Carolina. Under Armour is in Chicago, and then I don't know where the Adidas championship is, right? Because they're all on different, right? So those are the sneaker teams. So of course those players, the top players, everything is paid for, right? Because those agents and those entities are trying to establish a relationship. Because this kid's gonna be the next LeBron, so everything is free for you. Everything is free for you, for the most part. Everybody else is paying for the privilege, right? You're paying, and don't even get me started with these entrance fees that I'm talking about. $75, $75 to get in a gym to see your kid play on a team after you already done paid the hundreds of dollars to play for the team, after you're already paying all the money to travel and stay in a hotel. So the pricing is at every level. It's not just the coaches, it's the facilities. It's not just everybody is just it's just crazy. My point that I want to establish after making all these, folks, if you want to do all that just to do it because you just the you know what I mean, and there are people like this. You work hard, and I remember somebody saying like they spent like $10,000 per kid per season. They were great. The kids were great soccer players, and they costed it out because obviously this is money you're paying. But it was like 10,000, and it might have been per year, but like tens of thousands of dollars per kid per season or over the course, just money that a lot of people don't have. And if your whole thing is, and this is what I want to say, the experience, and spending time with my kid, and I'm willing to spend this money to have this experience, these memories that are just irreplaceable, and that's your bottom line, then great. And it is expensive. You are, frankly, I feel, I don't think it's overpaying. You are, but you're like when you take your kids to Disney, but they're having that Disney experience. My parents took me to Disney. I remember I flew in a Bumblebee. I remember to this day. If that's what you're trying to get out of it, then fine. But if this is like a cost benefit analysis, right? Like I'm investing this on the one end, and we're going to spend $50,000 or whatever total just an investment, but then he's going to get a scholarship to this institution that's worth $200,000, right? Because speaking of cost and pricing, and $60,000 for 1 year of college, right? Speaking of these systemic thing, right? If that's how you're in your mind, like I'm investing, so it's going to cost me $50,000, maybe $60,000, maybe $70,000, but they're going to get a scholarship that's worth $200,000. If that's how you're approaching this, and your kids are not playing during what's called the live period, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, folks. I hate to do it, but I'm going to do it. Because as a basketball person, as a referee, as somebody who follows this, you know, I'm not, this information, you know what I mean? Like all of these gradients, right? And this information, you know what I mean? Because I got to, I can't give you this information because then that, you know what I mean? Because knowledge is power. So you're not going to have this information. I'm going to keep this information so that I stay up here and you stay down there, right? How things work in the quote unquote free market, in the capitalist system. It boggles my mind. As a ref, as an educator, as a bit, you know what I mean? Now, and I get that there needs to be secrets and so on and forth, and there needs to be kind of, you know what I mean? I get to a certain extent. But if I'm running a program, and you're just trusting me to get your kid to the next level, and I'm not conveying that basic information that the recruiting calendar is built on what's called these live periods. We're in a live period. What is a live? The live period means the actual coaches themselves can be there evaluating the actual person. So you're going to see John Shire from Duke. You're going to see Danny Hurley from UConn. You're going to see Mick Cronin from UCLA actually there making the evaluations. And the bottom line is that's what it takes to get a scholarship. That's what it takes. The actual, a high-level coach is not going to trust anybody to make the final decision of this is the kid that's going to change our program. They need to see it themselves. They need to see it themselves. Okay? Because that's Coach K's $10 million at the end of the day. It's dependent on getting Zion Williamson and getting RJ Barrett. Okay? John Calipari is dependent on getting Malik Monk and getting De'Aaron Fox and getting Reed Shepherd and getting DeJuan Wagner Jr. and getting Rob Dillingham. So the scouts can tell me all they want to tell me and give me all of the cues, and I need to see it verified for myself. Got to see it verified for myself. So the live periods, there's one in April, May. Then there's another, right? April, May, there's one in that time period early on. Okay? Then another one, I don't think June, because NBA has their stuff, but these first weeks in July, folks. These first weeks in July, folks, are when the major changes, when the major recruitment takes place for the stars of tomorrow. Whether it be AJ DeBanza, who you're going to be seeing on ESPN this weekend in the Peach Jam playoffs and finals. Okay? Or the next AJ DeBanza, that 8th grader, that freshman, that sophomore that's trying to establish that right to be in the conversation for the McDonald's All-American game, so on and forth. Those rankings and decisions are based on how they play against the other top-tier talent during the live period. All right? At 1:43 in the morning. Late, but it is what it is. I've given you. Okay, we ain't stopping anytime soon. If you are playing grassroots AAU, the AAU, by the way, that's just it's grassroots is, I think, and you watch At All Costs and you'll see there's the Amateur Athletic Union does not really, I don't even know if that organization exists anymore. The word amateur is crazy, and that's crazy to even use that word. Okay, but I'm not, call it AAU, call it grassroots basketball, whatever the heck you want, youth basketball, developmental basketball, whatever you want to call it. All right, make sure that you're playing during the live period. Just make sure, okay? Because that is where the recruitment takes place, okay? That coach cannot get to some gym in Holyoke or in Yarmouth or in Mansfield in January. Why? Because what are they doing? They're coaching their own teams, right? It's not like college football where you could play one game a week and then the assistant coach run the practices, and then Nick Saban gets on the private jet and flies out to Podunk to secure that recruit, which, by the way, Deion Sanders isn't doing. I need to talk a little bit about Deion Sanders, and even though we're going to talk a little bit about that. Let me just see how we doing. YouTube is holding your boy down. We might have found something in this late night circuit. Please go ahead and like and subscribe. My people on YouTube that checked in with me. This is like unparalleled YouTube. Because again, I'm a YouTuber. I mean, who's live? I'm live right now. So a lot of people might be, I'm live right now. Maybe we make this a thing. All right, particularly during the summer, because I'm, you know what I mean. This is my time. But shout out YouTubers are with me. I appreciate that to the bottom of my heart. Like and subscribe. Call me out my name. Keep it respectful. It is what it is. It is what it is. I'm just gonna finish with this, and we're gonna move on. Because like we need to get what's going on, because there's major things happening in the world of sports media. And I referenced Deion in college football. We'll do a little bit, not too much. I'm gonna go sports media next because major shakeup. And then I called Deion out, and I got no because I got missed with Deion. But folks, youth basketball, you can just go, nerdly people like me do this. Just Google 2024 recruitment men's basketball recruitment calendar. Just Google it. 2024 women's basketball recruitment calendar, and it will just show you where those live windows are. It just shows you. Okay? Right? That's when decisions are made. All of the other tournaments are developmental, if you will. Like, it's all developmental, but you know what I'm saying? I don't want to say that they're not important. And this is like the large debate about playing too many games versus practicing and training. Another conversation, right? 12-year-olds playing 100 games in the summer. Another conversation, playing through injuries they shouldn't be playing through. Watch at all costs. Watch it. That's a different topic. But you don't have to play every single weekend from the beginning of April or mid-April through into August. You don't have to play every single doggone weekend. You don't. And probably you shouldn't. Right? If you're really, like I get, you know what I mean? Take a week, take 2 weeks, not 2 weeks, you know what I'm saying? Take some time out, let your body heal. I don't care, right? You're young, you're growing. Like all these kids are still growing. Let your body heal. You can play, playing 3 weekends out of a month is not, you know what I mean? You still play, you travel 3 weekends. That's crazy in and of itself. You don't have to travel every single doggone weekend and play at every single doggone event. If you want to for the experience and, where in the world is Carmen Sandiego, then that's fine. I'm happy for you. Travel. I'm too much of a homebody. Travel. Do it. Great. But understand, please, maybe that scholarships are dependent on what you show coaches against top competition during the live period windows. That's it. All right. And so maybe I told you something you didn't know. Maybe you knew that. But I personally just have an issue, and I've seen it over and over, where I can just, people are burnt out, and there's a bitterness, against whatever, because they really, really worked and exerted and traveled and sacrificed and spent and so on and forth. And it didn't affect their recruitment in any way, shape, or form, because they weren't, in the places at those times, in those specific windows. Or, right? So try to, get the, Know when the live recruiting windows are. Make sure that you're playing in those windows. The rest of the tournaments just build up. Okay. Now that it comes to my mind, we're gonna do a little bit of golf as well, right? Tiger Woods, right? Because the live period are the majors. If you're a golfer, if you're a tennis person, right? Everything else, right? Your greatness in golf and tennis is determined by majors, not how many times you won the Miami Pro-Am. It is what it is. Okay. We've been moving and grooving. We're gonna stay moving and grooving. West Coast people, you're pretty good. East Coast people, you're like, what the heck is going on? It is what it is. It's a Friday. All right. It's my party. I'm crying if I want to. I'm not crying. I'm actually having a blast. Frankly, this is gonna take me right into Ben is off, but I'm gonna check in. It's Arnie Spaniard or the No Show. Hope to get on there, because I'm gay. You know what I mean? It is what it is. I gotta play some cards tomorrow. Get mollywopped. And I'm going to take that beating tomorrow. And then I'm gonna play. I gotta get Cape League game. Playing against the Harwich Mariners. Check that out. And then we'll catch up on sleep tomorrow. I'll get back and be right on Sunday. That's how it's going to work out. But we moving and grooving now, and there's no stopping. Period. End story. 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4. It is what it is. It is what it is. I have to speak on what's going on in the world of sports media, and that's really, it's been an hour, but major shakeup in the world of sports. I was going to say it is Titanic. It's Titanic that Skip Bayless is leaving Undisputed. Titanic is the only word and way to describe this. And let's just get it, because Skip Bayless, right? So if Stephen A. Smith is number one, First Take is number one at ESPN. Okay, so let's just establish First Take number one. Then Undisputed, right? Now, it's not ratings. We're going to talk a little bit about that, but just in terms of like prestige in the world of sports media, which has changed, and there's podcasts and there's everything else, right? It's not all linear. So a couple people are up rocking with me on YouTube, right? The podcast and the YouTube is a major factor and does have a lot, if not equal and more, different conversation as the brick and mortar places. But Stephen A. Smith on the one side and Skip Bayless on the other side are titans in the world of sports media. And they're interesting people. Go ahead and check out Straight Shooter. I read it on, I listened to it on Audible. It's narrated by Stephen A. Smith. It's a New York Times bestseller, and it ought to be. Very impressed, and just a smooth listen, and it's just well done. So go ahead and check that out on Audible. Where am I going with this? Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless, they both married to the game, folks. Like them, don't like them, whatever you might want to say about them. Bottom line is, they're probably outworking you. They're probably outworking you while you're hating on them. This is no silver spoon type of a situation with either of these two men. And they're both interesting. And when I say married to the game, Stephen A. Smith is not married. He has daughters. He's not married. Skip Bayless is married, doesn't have children. But Skip Bayless, one of the things, and people that know Skip, he's honest and he tells this story, and it's an incredible story. His wife, Ernestine, is also a journalist and a writer and so on and forth. But Skip Bayless sat down and he tells the story. It's a great story. It's and they're still together. They have a great relationship. Skip Bayless, he sat down with Ernestine when they was first going out dating, when he was at ESPN. And he said, listen, I'm telling you right now, straight up, you will always come second to my job. I'm married to this. You will always come second to my job. That's what Skip Bayless told his then girlfriend, now wife of many years. You're coming second to my job. People might not know this about Skip Bayless. He runs marathons and half marathons. He's a workout warrior. The man is 73 years old. He don't look no 73. He don't look 73 to me. I know they got making all stuff like that. He is 73 years old. He is a type A personality through and through and through. People have a problem with Skip, and they have a right, because he takes these contrarian takes, but they're good takes, and they are interesting takes, and they create narratives and storylines. But Stephen A. Smith talks about it in his book. Check it out. Second Straight Shooter. Skip Bayless references it and makes no bones about it. He came from a broken household. His parents, both of them, dealt with substance abuse. Right? This is no secret. He doesn't get along with his siblings to this day. Skip Bayless's brother is a world-renowned chef in Chicago. His brother could have been the chef for Barack Obama in the White House. He said, no, thank you. I'm staying with what I'm doing in Chicago. You can come to my restaurant, when you're back in Chicago or after the presidency. And I bet he does. They don't speak. They're not tight at all. Then there's a sister, highly successful, highly motivated. No, the man did this to me or this person cut me off. No, I'm building it. I'm doing this. You want something done right? Do it yourself. I'm doing this. Skip Bayless only got 1 B in high school because when he enrolled in a class where the teacher just would not give A's. That's the only B he got in his entirety of his high school career. So therefore, he finished second in the valedictorian race. Scholarship to Vanderbilt, Ace Vanderbilt, got out, became a journalist. The rest is history. Type A personality. Okay, Stephen A. Smith, a little bit different background in terms of how he, HBCU and, dibble-dabbled in journalism and did this and did that, okay, but to get to where they are. My point with that is neither one of these guys is retiring or quitting anytime soon, ever. So to hear, and by the way, right, Skip Bayless, and we know that he and Shannon Sharpe divorced, parted ways. We know that. And that's a part of this. But Skip Bayless, and Shannon Sharpe says this, right, had the understanding that this is the guy that I need to build this show to compete with First Take with. He had that understanding. The show was a runaway hit with both of them. Obviously, it imploded. Shannon has gone on now. You want to talk about being in the catbird seat? You want to talk about feast to famine, folks? You want to talk about stay the course? Trust the process? Where Shannon Sharpe was last year at this particular point in time, after the undisputed, kind of, and he doesn't know what his next step is. He has Club Shay Shay. He takes that, but that's really all he has and doesn't know what next steps are. Flash forward a year. Now where is Shannon Sharpe? Number one podcast, all of these Weebies or whatever awards that he's won through Club Shay Shay. And he took a second project, Nightcap, from scratch and is an absolute juggernaut monster, 1 million, 2 million views. Wait till football season come on back around. You see what you're going to be seeing some Nightcap in this time frame. Okay, I'm going to have to move on out of this late night time frame because when Nightcap come on back. Because I ain't getting I got a couple views. On my, let me see. People still rocking with me on a 14. Craziness. YouTube, my people on YouTube is rocking with me tonight in this late night. When Nightcap come on back on, your boy is out. I got to move because when Shannon come and Ocho Cinco come and they start talking about them come for the sports, stay for the stories. I ain't got no stories like Shannon Sharpe. I ain't got no story like him and Ocho. I'm out. Yeah, he built that from scratch. Nightcap hasn't even been around for a year. Where's it? And now we have a situation whereas, and this is why this is crazy, because we have because Undisputed is not going anywhere. So we have a seat opening up, a prime time seat opening up that Fox needs to fill. They done already reached out to Shannon as far as I'm concerned. Come on back now. I'm gonna cut to the quick what I think, because but before I cut to the quick what I think about Undisputed, Stephen A. Smith is also coming up for his deal with ESPN. And Stephen A. Smith is making it clear, I want a bag, 25 mils, not budging. Now, Stephen A. Smith's no idiot, but he's also intimated, he's put the subliminals out there once Shannon Sharpe joined First Take on Mondays and Tuesdays. He's already put the subliminals out there that Shannon Sharpe could be the next host of First Take Stephen A. Smith, he wants to do other things. He wants to do some late night shows. He wants to talk politics. So a guy like Shannon Sharpe, who we done discussed it, was in a famine situation last year, had Club Shay Shay, which, by the way, in terms of the, Club Shay Shay belongs to Fox, but, in terms of how they work that out, like now he keeps Club Shay Shay. And it's underwritten by the volume. I want to talk about people that are ahead of the curve. Shout out to Colin Cowherd. Another person that's up for a huge bag. Another person that's incredibly, show is great. J Mac, Grinder, love J Mac. The big lead, which I used to, you know what I mean? Right? So but that's a different, right? So Fox needs somebody for this huge seat. So that's what Fox needs. I just cannot believe. And you know something? First of all, I can't believe Skip is leaving. If you want to talk about the ratings, so what? Now, it's crazy for just a guy. I'm just a guy to say so what about the ratings. Maybe that's why I'm just a guy. Here's why I say that show, Undisputed, first of all, the new intro is awesome. Is bananas with Lil Wayne. Second of all, when Michael Irvin is the lead dog on Undisputed, and it's Michael Irvin, Skip Bayless, Keyshawn, and then Richard Sherman is there, I don't care what anybody says. That lineup is off the charts. The issue with Undisputed that I've seen, for me, and I'm surprised they didn't at least let it, just because the ratings went down a little bit. It's not football season. Let's get Michael Irvin back on the show, because when it's Michael, Skip, Keyshawn, Richard Sherman, I'm loving Undisputed. That was one of my first go-tos. The issue that I've seen is when football season is over and Michael Irvin is not there anymore, right? Who's that next dynamic figure to the show? Like Keyshawn is good. He's another interlocutor, very, and him and Skip, they go back and forth, and it's good. It's mindful stuff. But Keyshawn is no Michael Irvin. Keyshawn is no Shannon Sharpe. Keyshawn is no Stephen A. Smith. He's a thinker and intelligent, all that stuff. But he doesn't have that charisma engagement piece. And so when Undisputed come out of football season, that's where, in basketball season, that's where I think they needed to find that other person to come in and be that other Michael Irvin. That was my only issue with the show. Okay. And I was, I was like, okay, so it's growing pains, but let's get back to football season. As soon as August comes around and Michael Irvin returns, Undisputed would have been right back in the groove. And so I am, I just don't think I'm. Skip is not retiring. Okay, the ratings, it's going to be an adjustment without Shannon Sharpe in a new format. But how this whole thing played out, I'm stunned that he's leaving with a year left on his deal and knowing that he's not going to retire in any way, shape, or form. So obviously there's some personal things that are going on and people are upset and enraged. But Skip Bayless is walking out one door. There's a good chance Stephen A. Smith could be walking out the other door. Who is going to now take over these two ginormous seats? Or are we looking at a situation where Skip is walking out this door, heading back to ESPN to reunite with Stephen A. Smith, and then Shannon Sharpe is saying, you know what, I'm coming back, because he hasn't left the West Coast. He still lives in LA. Shannon Sharpe is saying, I'm coming back to take over Undisputed, to get it back to where it was, and we're going to bring in somebody like Nick Wright to replace Skip, and that's how this is going to unfold. Okay? That would be possibly, right? Because Shannon now has to have his own show, as far as I'm concerned. Shannon's got to be the guy on a show, and he's going to need somebody to go, so I think Nick would be somebody great to go back, to go back and forth with Shannon. He can bring in all his people. He can bring in Ocho Cinco. He can bring in Gilbert Arenas. Those guys can come on the show at different times and do what they do. I'm just, where is Shannon? Is Shannon going to come back to Fox? Is Stephen A. Smith going to leave and Shannon take over at First Take, which means Skip Bayless is obviously not going to work with Shannon on First Take. So Skip is going to have to do something completely different. There's a lot of, these dominoes now are falling, and it's just crazy how it's going to work out. Who's going to be the driving force for Undisputed? What's going to be the next iteration of First Take? How are Stephen A. What's the next? Because we done discussed this. Okay. All right, and this is how I'll segue over into golf. Some people, and I'm probably one of the, you know what I mean? I'm not, Rico Suave, out there. I done told you your boy single to mingle, you know what I mean? I do what I do, and I love going out and connecting and finding, it is what it is. But I love what I'm doing right now. I love this. That's why it's 2:05, and people might feel something, but it is what I love this. I love sports media, conversation, dialogue, narrative, understanding information. I love it. Takes work. Anything worthwhile takes work, but and Skip and Stephen A are like that. They're married to the game. So neither one of them is leaving. They're both incredibly, they're the two of the highest in the industry. How is it going to play out? Again, what I see, I'm saying Shannon comes back west, take over Undisputed. Nick Wright rock with him. And then maybe not Nick Wright. Maybe Nick Wright stays as first thing first because they're doing, but somebody to go, back and forth with Shannon Sharp. And now that's his show, 9 to 5. He keeps obviously Shay, and Nightcap's gonna be, and he keep, what I mean? That's kind of a lot. 3 things, right? But I Stephen A. Smith does 3 things at least. He's on First Take. He's on NBA Today, yada, yada, yada. He obviously has his own show, Stephen A. Smith show. So Shannon's come from that same cloth, so he can do it. He can be the driving force for a daytime show and it's a lot. But he's going to be offered a lot of money. So, fascinating. I'm saying I don't want to because we're getting into an hour and a half, and I'm thrilled with the hour and a half. And it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing, but there's a little bit, right? Because Shannon's already, Shannon's doing his thing with First Take. Would he come back to Fox, or would he just stay at First Take? Is Stephen A. Smith going to leave First Take? If Shannon stays at First Take, Skip can't come, so if Skip is leaving Fox and then Shannon stays at First Take, and he comes back to, that might be, it would be different shows. So they're all adults. I'm just fascinated in terms of how these dominoes, how these pieces are going to fall into place. I'm fascinated. And I know that Skip's going to land on his feet. We know that Shannon has more than landed on his feet. Stephen A. Smith got some things working in the mix, and there's going to be some opportunities for some other people. The Nick Wrights of the world, the Joy Taylors of the world, the Emmanuel Achos of the world, the Chris Broussards of the world, the Colin Cowherds, the Jason McIntyres of the world. Yeah. There's going to be some opportunities for some other people. A lot of talent that I just named off right there. And as one person filling here, another person getting an opportunity, there's going to be some opportunities. I love it. And how it shakes out to be continued, but it's a beautiful thing. And the bottom line, as we go, because I'm going to shift, into golf, them a little bit of D on them, get up out of here. And this is one of the things I borrowed from Colin. Nobody cares. Work harder. Nobody cares. Work harder. Period. That's just it. Okay? Sylvester Stallone wrote Rocky. He wrote it. Production company telling him, you know what I mean, we're going to give you, he was flat broke. Had to sell his dog. Go ahead and read the back. Read. You know what I mean? Flat broke. Threw $300,000 at him. No. You want Rocky? You want Sylvester Stallone? I'm starring in this movie. Rest is history. Chaz Palminteri, A Bronx Tale. Same thing. Broke. Man was broke. Stuck to his gun. I'm not selling you this. I am starring in this, period. No, we don't want you. You don't fit our Q ratings and, focus groups. And all right, well, you ain't getting it. Done, period. Robert De Niro came out to Broadway, saw the show, said, we're going to fix this. We're going to make this right. Rest is history. You have your Bronx Tale. You have your classic. Okay, Matty D, Ben Affleck, they wrote Good Will Hunting. Okay, shout out to, late, great Robin Williams. They wrote that. They got Robin Williams to be on that project. Okay. In the retrospect now, and I have to say this is a little bit, because Harvey Weinstein put them on. Miramax put a lot of people on. So that, I'm not going. Miramax was, but Harvey Weinstein is who he is, and justice found him. Okay, so I had to mention that though. But what I'm also mentioning, and the most part, is that they wrote it, they built it. They ain't comply, they ain't cry and complain. So Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith are two folks that's about that life in that same way, and they're gonna land on their feet. It's gonna be a beautiful thing, right? In conclusion, folks. Tiger Woods did not make the cut at the British Open. British Open is one of the toughest Masters. One of the toughest majors, not the Masters. It's a major. And the question of Tiger, he can't retire. So he's going to keep missing cuts. Right? This is back to like youth sports. This is the other side of when you have a prodigy. Right? Because when you have a prodigy, whether it's chess, whether it's sports, go ahead, check out the Marinovich Project. Check out the Marinovich Project, 30 for 30. Check it out. When you have a prodigy, right, they have such a competency in one area, but they're so strong in that one area, many times they're not able to develop the other areas of their life and develop, of their maturity. Right? And there's an imbalance that persists. This chair's a little creaky. I don't know how it's affecting the show. I'll work on the chair. Put some WD-40 on it. Whatever needs to be done. So that's Tiger can't retire. And we've seen that. And, he also, he's had his struggles just as a person away from golf. We've seen that. And so I think that's what him continuing to play. There was the issue about Montgomery said, why does he continue to play? Tiger said, I'm exempt till I'm 60. So, I don't want all these majors. I can show up to these tournaments, and I don't have to end up till I'm 60. So, holla at your boy. I'm not going to the senior tour, which is basically like, Elysium, which is basically just like being put out to pasture. No, I'm going to – and it's good for golf because Tiger brings the ratings. But it's bad for his legacy because he's not, even – you know what I mean? He's on the polar opposite of who we think of as Tiger. So that's tough. And I just, I'd like to see Tiger make the cuts when he's in these majors. That's what I'd like to see. I don't believe it's going to happen just because he's not healthy. Not healthy. And that's no, he's been in, right? Bobby Hurley Jr., co-MVP of the McDonald's All-American game with who? Shaquille O'Neal. Torched. I'm sorry I have to say this, but I have to say it. John Stockton. When USA lost the one game, the Dream Team loss was to the college kids. Read the reports. Bobby Hurley put it on Stockton. Put it on their team. Bobby Hurley is 6 foot, 160 pounds soaking wet. Okay. The St. Anthony's tradition. Somebody hit him after 7 games with the Sacramento Kings. He was ejected from the car. Fortunately, somebody saw and came and saved his life. But that effectively ended his basketball career, and we never got to see what we should have, what was going to be an all-time great point guard. Okay, Jason Williams, the motorcycle accident. Unfortunately, the same thing. Tiger, you just, he's not going to be the same. He's not going to make the cuts. And it's a tough way to go out. Over to Dion, and I'm just going to touch. See, I can't really, you know what I mean? And this is not really right. We'll do more Dion as we get closer to college football. I think the real takeaway that I want to give is not anything on Dion, but I want to talk about Dion and Nick Saban in college football. That's what I want to talk about. So that's just a little story this way for later. I'm not going to, but I want, Dion is doing what he's doing. He's doing it one way. Nick Saban has left the game. He did it another way. And I want to kind of look at these two different styles And I'm hopeful for Colorado this year. I think it's going to be an uphill battle for them in the Big 12, but we'll save that. Respect to Deion, respect to Nick Saban. Do I agree with both of them on everything? No. Do I respect their success and who they are and what they built up? Yes, 100,000%. And on that note, shout out to the people that went ahead and got college football, which is all the rage. Speaking of EA Sports in the game, that was the thing back in the day. Madden 94, college football. My family had to tell me to get up off the video games when I was in middle school. It was. So I'm thrilled that college football is back and people are playing it and enjoying it. And I'm not the gamer that I used to be. I don't say that proudly, but I'm super duper happy, proud, and I can say proud, because even though, college football, that's just a generational, just a beautiful thing. And I'm glad that's back in the mix. So it's 2:15 here on the East Coast. It is what it is. We had to get this episode in. And I'm glad that we got the episode in. And it's a Friday and it's late night and we doing what we doing. We've seen great engagement on the YouTube, which is for this program really help. Great. Like, subscribe, comment, review. Let me know. Jump on. It is what it is. But thank you so much for rocking with me tonight. Let me know the feedback is invaluable. And as we say, late night, early night, it is what it is. We're going to see you next time, folks. Peace.